on, I'm going to hand it over to Claude, who's going to talk about exposure and HD, right? Claude?
Bracketing and HDR, yeah.
Bracketing and HDR.
Yeah.
So I think we shall learn some more information here and to make our photos better. And everybody, don't forget your January challenge and your 3 items, same 3 items, 1 item photographed in 3 different ways. A scrambled egg, a raw egg, a cracked egg.
Where is it?
Who could afford eggs, let alone not to eat?
Well, all right. How about a mashed potato, a whole, they're going to be using painted potatoes for Easter.
We talk about this, but I don't know where it's written. I've gone on the website.
It's in the calendar, and I sent out an email a long time. I sent you a copy of the email. I'll send you another copy of the email that we sent out. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Yeah. So a good idea. What I do is I make a directory of all my emails and I save all my my Stonebridge photos, emails in that folder. So I can always go back to it. Claude?
Okay, could you make me host, please?
Mark, are you doing that? Mark can't hear you.
He's
Mark?
cursing out sound.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Claude, you can just take over. You can.
Okay, am I host now?
You don't have to be host to.
Oh, okay.
You just have to be good looking.
And he is.
Okay. 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 So tonight we're going to talk about 2 things, bracketing and HDR, which are related to some extent, or to a large extent, depending on how you look at it. But starting with bracketing,
do you want to get rid of the side notes or you want them on there?
get rid of the side. I want to expand.
All right, go up to slideshow up on top. Slideshow up here.
Okay.
And start from beginning.
There
All
you
the way.
go. Okay, there we are.
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
And so I said that one.
Claude, if you want,
bracketing.
sorry, Claude, if you want to use your pointer as a laser, you can right click on it and you have options to change it if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. And go to pointer options, point up ahead, up in the middle, somewhere in the middle. Keep going, stop.
Pointer
Hit that,
options.
yeah, laser point.
Oh, wow.
Or
In
hide.
color even. Wow. That's
Yeah.
Hubba
impressive.
hubba.
Wow. I don't know how you undo that stuff, but
Well,
anyway.
when you don't have to do it now. When you close it and you go, it'll ask you, do you want to save?
Okay.
And you say no, but you can do a laser pointer. So, dead. Sorry.
Okay, so bracketing is quite simply taking multiple pictures of the same scene with different exposures. Normally works in a very contrasty lighting situation like this situation here, where you have the snow and the darker trees back there and the darker water. So you can bracket this couple different exposures to see which one you like, whether you want the snow exposed or whether you want the dark trees exposed. So let's get rid of that stuff. Winter thing. Now, how do I go forward from this mode?
Hit the enter key.
The enter key. Okay.
Enter
Okay.
and the space bar or enter, either one.
Right. Okay. So almost all the pictures I'm going to be showing tonight are taken with my camera. It was Sony A7R III mirrorless camera. This picture was not taken with that camera because it's hard to take a picture of yourself that way. But in any event, so the things I'm going to be talking about tonight are things I did on this camera. And most cameras that each of us use. Probably has the same things. I think, isn't it Nikon that has a way of calling things different names than conventional names? But anyway, the things I'm going to be talking about are generally available on most cameras. I just want to put a plug here. If you've ever seen these guides, David Bush camera guides, they're very good. They're so much better written than the manuals. He even gets into where you would types of situations where you would use different settings. I looked at the menus on my camera, and there are, I think, 191 different items within the menus. And of those, some of them have 5 or 6 options within that 191 things. Some of them are just on or off. So, and this book does get into a lot of very detailed description of what those items are, how they work, what situations you would use. So keep that in mind. He writes, he probably has written a book on every camera in existence. I think he just spends his whole life buying new cameras and going through
Lord, what is
checking
his
everything.
name?
Yeah.
I can't see the name. What is the guy?
David Bush,
Bush? Spell it.
Bush.
Busch.
Oh, BUS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, before I get into a lot of other stuff, I'm going to show a video of the power of bracketing. Now, I'm trying to try and get out of this.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, stop the share. And I'm going to minimize. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get my YouTube video.
I think I'm gonna do his hairdo though. I like it.
Don't touch him. He's just
Me too.
gorgeous the way he is. Leave him alone.
You too.
Leave him alone.
Back to
Yep, that was it. Oh, there you go.
okay. Okay. In my camera, there's a lot of automatic bracketing options. You could do bursts of 3, 5, or 9 images. You could do plus or minus 0.3 f-stops, 0.7, 1 f-stop, 2 f-stops, 3 f-stops. I can't imagine why you would want to take a 3 f-stop variance and take 9 things. So that would be 27 stops over and under,
Oy.
pure white to pure black. But in any event, if you don't use the automatic camera settings, you would have to put your camera on a tripod securely and take one picture, manually adjust the exposure, take the second picture, and hope that you don't move anything and what you want. So surely I think within the automatic exposure compensation is a much better option for most of us. So, and the great thing is you try using the 3, and if that doesn't work, you do try the 7. Get variations, get different ideas. And this is pictures I took. This top one here is the normal. It was ISO 1250, 125th at f8. And then you take -3, +3. Those depending on what you want, those two look pretty good.
Yeah.
Get into the one difference, then you start getting the very dark, blown out pictures. And the great thing is you could look at it in your viewfinder, and if that's not what you want, you can always try some a different range of pictures. There's a couple other bracketing options within my camera. You could do ISO bracketing, and I didn't try that. And you could do white balance bracketing, which I didn't try that either, but that could, depending on your scene, that could be very interesting. These are things you have to look at your camera, look at your manual, see what options you have, because each one is different. As I said, if you're going to do manual bracketing, you have to do it you should do it on a tripod. Well, bracketing leads to, or can lead to, HDR, which is a technique for blending good sections of two or more photos to achieve a balanced presentation. It can be done in camera. I can do it in camera in my camera, or you can do it in post-production.
Lord, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I never knew what HDR means.
Do I?
I don't know what HDR means.
High dynamic range.
Okay. And then what?
Yeah.
Diana, basically it means a scene that has very light colors, not light colors, very bright areas and very dark areas together. So there's a high range of exposures available. The human eye can do better than the camera can do it in picking up that scene.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Our brain is one of the greatest HDR producers.
That's good to know.
Our brain processes what we think we should be seeing rather than what we do see sometimes. But anyway, we're going to get into a little bit more on that. We're going to take a look at another video on what is HDR. Okay, that was he had some really that thing in the lighthouse was really neat. The differences in exposure, and that's why he gets paid to make these videos. I'm going to show you a couple examples of HDR now. First one is an example from Mario. Okay. I don't know if you want to do any commenting on these, Mario, or you want me to talk?
You can. I mean, these are the two raw shots, right? Yeah.
Right. And the same scene, this one was exposed more for the sky. You can see the blue in the sky. You see nothing down here. This one was exposed more for the foreground, and the sky is much lighter. And then you did this in any of it. They were combined together, and they're combined together, and you get a picture that shows both elements of it. And that's what essentially HDR is the high dynamic range. You get the range. There's a whole range down here. There's a whole different range up here. So it's combined. It's similar to that lighthouse. You know, you take the best of both halves of it and bring them together. Now you
Claude-
blend. Yeah.
I'm sorry, are you saying that the camera will put them together for you? Or you have to take the two or however many exposures and combine them yourself in post-process?
Both or either. Mario, you did this one in.
Yeah, Claude, we
Mm.
talked about this and
Yeah.
Rich probably knows something about this. I haven't done it in years, but
Yeah.
I think you can in Elements for sure, and obviously in Photoshop. They have something where you can blend together
Right.
multiple photos, HDR, right, Rich? You've done it too, I think, years ago.
Yeah, it's either called HDR or photo merge.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yes.
photo merge. That's it.
It's photo
And you,
merge.
yeah, and you can take as many photos as you want. I remember I played around with it with 6 or 7 photos of a scene, and you put it together. Now, the main problem with it is that if the photos don't exactly match up, and this is where you have to have a steady hand and a tripod. If they don't exactly match up, you're going to see a ghosting. That's not the right way to put it.
Yeah,
Ghosting.
It is.
ghosting,
It
yeah.
is. That's
or
right.
doubling
Yeah.
of the images. And but it's a good technique, and I don't know why I've gotten away from it. You know, years ago we tried it. I think it was one of the things we learned.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
also separate software. I believe Nick has stuff that allows for HDR processing. They all amount to the same thing. You
Right.
take a number of photos that all have different exposures, and the software merges them them
It's very similar to what I did with focus stacking. In Lightroom,
Yes,
you
it
could do
is, yeah.
Yes.
And Lightroom, you could do photo merge, and
Right.
it doesn't allow for the aligning. But
Right.
in Photoshop, you can do it so that you align the photos first and then do the HDR merge.
Right.
It-
Aligning is very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, but the
That's-
Photoshop has an if you have your, like you
I
said,
know.
on a tripod.
I
Yeah.
remember even trying that though. It didn't work. Even with the tripod, if it's slightly off,
Yeah. Well, that's
This-
one advantage of using the in-camera bracketing.
Yeah.
The in-camera bracketing will give you the images, and the example I had back there, I think it was 1/1250th of a second. So blasting off 5 frames at that speed, you're probably going to get very close to the same thing. You're not going to get a lot of camera shake in that.
Right. Well,
So you
even
can-
like with a scene like this, depending on how rapidly, for instance, clouds are going by,
Yeah.
you have some difficulty even taking it. Like you say, it's better to do in a quick burst.
Yeah.
Now, this particular photo, I talked to Claude about, and I think there's another one too. I don't know if you put it in here.
I have, that's the next one, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, no,
How do you go back here?
I don't know.
Try escape first.
Beep. Oh, that didn't
Not
work.
doing it.
No.
Try your back arrow.
Try the back arrow. Yeah.
Okay. Oops. Okay. Let's go back to sharing screen.
Mario, while we're waiting, the photo merge you say is in Elements, because I remember.
Yeah,
looking-
I only have Elements Flow, so I know I used it in Elements.
Oh.
And it
okay.
must have been an older version too, because I don't think I've played with this for a number of years.
But it's called photo merge.
Yeah, I think Rich got it or Claude got it. I forget who said
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna
Mhm.
get into that in a little
Yeah.
bit more.
But just wanted to point out that there's other ways to do it too. And well, get Claude. I'll wait till you get
Yeah, okay, that's the,
this is all right. This is the first one.
that's,
I don't know if
that's,
you-
that-
I-
that's
I-
the blended one.
This is the final. These are
Okay,
the,
that's
I only used 2 shots out of the camera. These are the
Right.
raw, and of course, always shooting raw because you have more to play with then. Now, if you go back to the edited version. So with the edited
Mhm.
version now, you first edit the first of the raw shots, and in that case, edited for the sky to come up with the best sky that you think you can come up with. And then in the next shot where the foreground was lighter and the sky was more blown out, you edit for the foreground and try to bring out the detail and expose it the way you like. And then this is neat. And I can point out too, because I've done this technique even with a window frame like he had in that shot with the lighthouse. But here it's really great that you've got a horizon line along there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And what I did was to create a third image, and I copied the top of the one edited for the good sky, and I copied the bottom from the one edited for the good foreground, and put them together and really kind of I did just a simple copy and paste. And I was able to do a good paste because I could do a rectangular copy from one image because of that horizon line. Just to bring up about the lighthouse, I've done this too. If you got a room and you're doing the inside of the room and there's a window and you take a bunch of shots, if you've got a window frame is perfect for doing a copy and paste because you can,
Yeah.
you can copy, you can put your little ants, the select tool, around the window frame, and then take it out of that, and you edit to get the best exposure for inside the room, one image. You do another image to get the best exposure for what you see through the window, and of course the room is going to be pitch black then, and you put your ants, your marching ants, your select tool around the window, copy the window, go back to the other picture and paste, and you can resize it, you can adjust the size of what you paste in, and you accomplish the same thing.
And that's one of the little cheats that we do too. If you don't like what you see outside the window, put a picture of something that you like in it.
Yeah, a different window. Yeah.
Right. Well, even an image like this, although it's not the case in this one, many of us have taken skies from different photos,
Yeah.
and and put them in the background, and you could have done the same thing here, same technique.
There are many ways to skin the cat. Not that I'm into skinning cats.
Oh, yes, there are. Yeah.
So there's not a position on the camera that says HDR. It's how you shoot it. Is that what you mean?
Well, Claude's bringing up bracketing as the way to shoot, to get a
Yeah.
number of images all exposed differently, and then you put them together in post-processing. Although I think some cameras do have an HDR setting that
Yeah.
supposedly.
I'm going to be
helps you.
getting to that
Yeah,
in just
okay.
I'm getting to that in just a minute. Okay, let me. If you've ever toured in Europe, the old cathedrals and stuff, you go in on a nice day and you'll see this cathedral, a beautiful stained glass window with the sun coming through it. You take a picture and everything inside is black, except the window. This is not a cathedral in Europe. This is the balcony of my house. This is late afternoon with the sun coming here. This picture on the left is just adjusted the best I could. This was the one on the right was using the automatic HDR function in my camera. It's not a great picture, but you can see where it's bringing out more of the color here and the details of things. So I think working within the camera thing, if I'd worked a little more on different exposure ranges, I might have gotten a little bit better picture. But you can, within my camera, it does have the capabilities of Firstly, it does the same thing we talked about. It takes 3 or 5 bracketed pictures, and it combines them all into one image within the photo. And again, this has to be something that's still, you can't really use this like on wildlife or birds or anything like that outside where you would get a motion that would disturb it.
Claude?
Yeah.
In the, when you're using the camera to do it, does it actually merge it together in the camera?
Yes, it does.
So that's essentially the difference between bracketing and HDR,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's essentially is bracketing, but going one more step.
Right, the merging.
The merging, yeah.
Claude,
Yeah.
I seem to remember now as we're talking about this, the thing that when you do it in camera, I believe the final version, the HDR version that the camera creates has to be JPEG. And I
I
can't,
think, yeah, I think
and
so.
I can't remember.
In the
Really?
Nikon, it does.
I think in Nikon, yeah, because
Right.
I've played with that too. It has to be JPEG, and I think the images that you take, like let's say you say take 6 images, and then you're going to create your HDR final product. I think they also have to be JPEG too, right?
They do, yes. It's all JPEG.
And that's the one drawback about doing it in camera.
Yeah.
You don't have a raw image.
If I could put my 2 cents in, it depends on your camera. It doesn't have to be JPEG. If the camera could photograph HDRs, so it depends on the camera also. The other thing I would keep in mind is your camera. Some cameras, their bracketing don't shoot whatever. If you pick 3 photos, for instance, and use bracketing, the camera might not be able to shoot all 3 quick enough. You're going to have that on a tripod, and hopefully you have a remote and click it off as fast as you can.
Yeah.
But if you combine that, if your camera has a burst mode, and I think most cameras have
Right.
burst mode, you combine them together, you have an excellent chance. Put it on the fastest burst mode you have an excellent chance
Right.
of lining those shots up handheld, because I've done it many times.
Really?
Oh yeah. In fact, Bobby, this summer when we went to the car show at the,
Yes.
remember I
yes.
mentioned it to you?
I do remember that. Yes, I do.
I never showed you what I came up with. I could do that if you're interested in that.
Most definitely I'm interested because it's real to me since we were both there. Yeah.
I could do it sometime. I don't want to interrupt Claude though. When Claude is ready, I'll be able to show you my shots.
Yeah. Okay, I just on a quick look on the on Google. I know my camera has the Sony A7R III has the built-in HDR, and there's one Canon, one Nikon. There's probably many more models that have it. And then
T6i, I just looked it up, has it also.
Okay. I would suspect many of the newer models probably have it. Even some of the point and shoot type of cameras have that. I don't know how good it is. Haven't looked at anything, but and when you look at software for HDR, I mean, Lightroom, Mario does it in Elements, Photoshop HDR Pro. I'm not sure exactly what that is. The free software, now you always have to be careful. Free software, free is for the first 7 days you use it, but you have to give them a credit card. But anyway, so a program called Luminance and a program called Easy HDR. So there are softwares available, but I think the first step is you have to do a little bit of practicing on the bracketing to get your feel for how that works, particularly so you can bracket the shots. And that was a very quick overview of what bracketing is and what HDR is. It's worth going to and trying the if you have HDR in camera, try it out. Find it. Ideally, looking at a contrasty situation. You know, snow in the woods sort of thing is really good if we ever get snow again. You know, the inside looking out. Yeah. Okay. Harvey, you had something you wanted to say or show?
Yeah, I could show some things.
Okay.
Let me look for the, where is, oh, share screen. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
guess I'm hitting click his share screen and okay. Okay. Now let me tell you what we ran up against. These were it was a car show of collected cars, and it was a sunny day, and it was the worst time to shoot anything. You got the heavy sun and the black shadows.
Yes.
And I was trying to get good exposure on these things, on the cars, outside, inside. And somewhere along the line, I said, you know, let me try HDR. And I forgot all about where the button was on my camera. And then I found it.
Yeah.
Let me show you. Let me see if I can get, what is this? This is, okay, let me put up bridge.
Is that the mirrorless, the Nikon mirrorless Z7 too?
No, it's a DSLR.
Oh, okay.
It's already about 3-4 years old.
Harvey, was this a JPEG image that came out from the camera?
No, it was an HDR.
No.
Yeah, no, it was
it's either JPEG or RAW.
RAW. I'm sorry, RAW. I'm sorry, not HDR. It was RAW.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I had other shots, which is in bridge. Well, let me see if I can do this. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Claude, help me. Let me get
Gee,
back.
that never happens to us.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember this car, Harvey.
Okay. Remember this car? Okay. This is the best photo I could get of this engine. You can see how it's dark and overexposed because of the sun. It gives you heavy shadows. So actually, I did a 2 burst photo, not even a 3. I did a 2 on this one, and then put it through. I have an HDR program, and I'll show you if I can how it came out. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? No. Nope. Can I? Maybe it's this one. There it is. No, that's not it. Oh man, Claude, I'm in worse shape than.
Worse shape than I was, huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to show the HDR version, and I had it kind of set up here, but I don't know where it disappeared to.
Hit the enter button.
Which
Enter
button?
Enter.
Enter. What good is that going to do?
I don't know. It worked for me.
No, this didn't work.
There you go.
No. You're going to see everything on my computer that I shouldn't be showing.
Porn?
Wait, here we go. Oh, here we go. This was the bad one. But the other one, okay, this is the bad one. Here we go. These two is the only shots I had. And you can see this one was the dark one,
Right.
and this one was the well-exposed one. That's all I had to work with in this HDR test I was doing. But what I discovered was HDR, when you are stuck outside and you have the sun right over your head, and every teacher you ever had in your life is saying to you, never shoot when it's like that. Never shoot when the sun is directly overhead. You're going to get crap. Well, we were stuck and we had to do it.
Yeah.
We did our best. And once I discovered HDR, okay, so let's say,
Yeah.
so this is the dark one. This is the well-exposed one, supposedly, and this is the HDR.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
could you have done that with fill flash?
With what?
Fill
A
flash.
little flash, fill flash. Yeah, just a little touch of flash.
A flap?
Flash. Flash.
Oh, a flash.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it would give me that kind of
No.
look.
Mm.
I mean, this looks like real chrome to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks good.
I think the
Yeah.
flash might have spilled over into inside the hood, maybe,
Undoubtedly, yeah.
but I didn't do that, so I really can't say. It's something worth trying.
Yeah.
It would have
Uh-huh.
blown out a lot of the silver metal, I think.
Yeah.
You've
Probably
gotten
would,
a lot
yeah.
of reflection.
Harvey,
Yeah,
didn't one of your exposures have the red background a lot darker?
oh, probably, because it was different
Yeah,
exposure.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Although,
I think
could've
one
made-
of those looked better because it highlighted the chrome.
that's true. I could have used that. Well, that's as Claude said, that's one of the beauties of shooting multiple bracketing shots.
Yeah.
You have different photos to pick if you're stuck and you want to play with any of them and color correct or make them brighter or darker. That's another good use of bracketing shots.
Yeah.
Also, I think you said that some cameras, I think most cameras now will do will do bracketing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think
But
so.
I don't think all of them, in fact, I know all of them will not combine them in the camera.
Right.
I have a Panasonic that I just found out after all these years will shoot bracketing and then combine them in the camera. In fact,
Surprise.
so that's a neat thing also.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep in mind, if you're stuck outside, this is the best use of bracketing. And that is, if you have a real bad lighting situation outside and you don't have any fill or nets to cover, to block the sun, anything like that, and you don't have a crew with you, then bracketing's the next best thing. And then,
Harvey?
yeah.
Do you know what shutter speed you used on these?
Yes.
Because you did these handheld, right?
Yes.
Just look in the metadata, Harvey.
Yeah.
There it
Looking
is
around,
on
I
the
don't-
right.
1/100th, isn't it? Or
Yes.
1,000?
1/1000. Yes.
1,000.
1,000, yeah.
So
I
fast.
wanted to make it more than my lens. And I think my lens was a 17 to 75.
Okay.
But it was so bright, so I just,
Yeah.
and I was hand holding it on top of that. And I also set it for one stop bracketing for most of my
Yeah.
shots.
I see.
But I
yes.
mean, I would imagine if you use the slower shutter speed, or for whatever reason, if it was handheld and you just slightly moved,
Yeah,
that the camera would have a difficult time.
not the camera,
Well,
the software.
Yeah.
Well, in the camera. Then you said this was done in camera.
The bracketing was done in camera, where it gave me,
No, but was the
Oh.
HDR image created in camera?
no,
Oh, okay.
not
I
with this
thought you
one.
said
No, I'm
this was
sorry.
in camera.
Okay.
You took
No,
the
I thought we
images
were
out.
talking
Bracketing, yeah.
Oh, I got it.
bracketing.
So you did HDR software, taking the raw images
Right,
from the camera and putting them together. Okay, I thought you meant.
exactly,
I thought
right.
you said this was done in camera. Okay.
Now, let me say this about the software. A lot of, especially all the new softwares, have an alignment engine inside that you click on it to align. So even if you're a little bit off, it'll line them up. So you don't get any ghosting.
So in other words, if you're shooting handheld, you have a better chance.
Shoot it-
Because it'll align it for you, or it'll try anyway.
Yes, the software.
It's not perfect.
But the bracketing and the burst mode in combination, and hold it as tight as you can, because it'll be like click, 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 and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fast for people, for almost anybody, unless they just can't do it. Yeah.
What software did you use for this?
It's a Luminar. It's a special. It's one of their things that they can do. Bracketing.
You mean HDR?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to take a wild stab at something too.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that Harvey wanted to have the background not as sharp and in focus, so he used the 3.5. And in order to get that, you might have had to kick up the speed.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it would let too much light in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that maybe why you're at 1,000?
I'll be. No, that's not why. I wasn't even concerned with the background being in focus because I really didn't care. I didn't think I was using these for anything, to be honest with you. I was just doing my best. And if I got a great shot by accident, as I usually do, and it might be good enough that I could say, hey, I'll enter that into a competition. But I wasn't even concerned with that. Most shots, I don't even think that would work with bracketing. It might, actually it might, Rich.
Yeah.
It might work if I thought about it, that I wanted this definitely to be really out of focus, to do it at a wide open f-stop,
Mm-hmm.
like 2.5 or whatever it is, 3.8. But I
And
wasn't
since-
even thinking about that.
But since you were hand holding, it worked out best of both worlds. You got to soften the background with the wide f-stop, and you had a very tiny increment with the 1/1000th. So it reduced a lot of camera shake.
Yeah. See, look at the shadows underneath. You see how hot it was there to do anything. But if I shot this, and did I shoot this I never combined them in an HDR, but if I combined these three, it might have made a nice HDR. I don't know.
Well, they're not exactly the same. Would the software combine them then?
No, they are pretty much the same.
No,
I did this with the burst mode bracketing.
Look at the front shadow though.
Yeah, see?
See, there's a longer shadow on this one than on the other one. So would the software still do something with
I don't
that?
think so. I think, no. No, they're all the same. But
Oh, I guess you're
don't
right.
forget, this is the so-called brightest one of the three.
Yeah.
This is the so-called well-exposed one, and this is the dark one. And it was one stop under, this is one stop dark. And this one, where is it? And this one is one stop over. I could have combined them, made an HDR, or I could have said, well, which one, and I've done this. Well, which one looks pretty good to me? I'm not going to go through all that HDR stuff. I'm just going to work on this one. We'll work on this one.
Yeah, if you shoot in RAW, you can bring out a lot of detail in the dark areas and the light areas.
Yeah. Let's see. Does it tell me? It should say if it's a JPEG or an HDR, But I got, oh, here we go.
Or raw.
No, JPEG or a RAW, you mean?
Yeah. Here it is. It should say in here, with file properties. Yeah,
Raw.
it's a raw.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
But
raw.
this is the original.
Yeah,
Go
Yeah.
back to the one that you created. Yeah, the merged one. Was this the merged one?
yeah.
And that.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
All right.
No, this is the bright one. Here's the dark one. Here's the middle one.
So you took 3 shots.
Yeah, and here's the bright one. I
So
got. So what did I do with the HDR?
Well,
Wait, let me see.
see, if you did any editing, it can't come out as a RAW.
No, you're right. You're right. That's
So
why.
you have to wind up with either a TIFF or a JPEG, or
PSD.
PSD.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
My
why
mistake. I'm
that's why
sorry.
And I'm pretty sure that from your camera, when you do in-camera HDR, it's going to give you a JPEG.
No,
Yeah, well, at least on my camera it would, yes.
no,
I'm
no. I
pretty
shot
sure.
it. I shot it in.
No, I'm not talking. You take your bracketed shots, you're going to get 3 or 4 or 5 RAW shots.
Yes.
That's a given.
Yeah.
But if you take your camera and you say, I want you to create an HDR from these 6 bracketed shots that I'm taking,
Mhm.
the final version, the edited version that the camera gives you will be JPEG.
Yeah. Now I could have told the camera, give me JPEGs instead of HDRs, instead of RAW. I could have done that, Mario.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I never did that.
Oh, well, yeah, but all I'm talking about is the final HDR version that the camera
Yeah.
creates for you from the 6 shots that you took.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
JPEG.
Now I have a JPEG someplace of that. I thought the third one was the HDR, but it's not. It's the one of the original raw photos. Where is it? Yeah, because there was. So my HDR actually looks better than this one. I don't think it has all the blown out pieces of it.
So did we see the raw though? I don't.
Now you're seeing the RAW. He can't find the.
Yeah, but-
he
I can't find
the
it.
final
But Harvey,
HDR.
if you find it, you can send it to me and I can mail it out to members so they can actually see it.
Sure. Okay, I'm not going to take any more time. Unless you have any questions. Anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer them.
Oh, I want to ask everybody, pictures of photographers. I want to put that on the website. People taking of our photographers. That picture of Bobby, it's a good one.
Which one is that?
Yeah.
He had a picture of you taking a photo.
That was
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
I didn't even recognize myself.
You're
Really?
wearing a red
Yeah.
coat and jeans.
Yeah, where is
I
it?
don't remember. I don't think that was me. No.
Looked like
No, it was you.
Really?
Yeah.
I said, look, who's that young chick?
I didn't
Yeah.
recognize.
Yeah.
Really? That was me?
That's
Yeah.
you.
What happened? It was just a few months ago. I don't know.
Out of the
Okay.
camera.
Oh. All right.
She'll
Yeah,
take a
well,
dozen.
I want to update.
Right.
I want to update some photos on the club's pages. The Taylor website for the club, and put pictures of our photographer, our people taking photographs, not of photographs, but taking photographs.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes, good idea.
Actually, there
There's
was,
one.
there's another one of one of our members, this guy right here, who I never see anymore.
Alan, he's in Florida now.
Oh, that's Alan.
That's Alan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Oh.
Alan was there for sure.
He's on the board, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now I know what he looks like. Okay. All right.
I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you very much, Claude. This was a great introduction to the subject. So I'm going to say goodnight.
Yeah.
Good night, Diana.
Good
Night.
night.
I die.
Sleep well.
You too.
It might be an interesting follow-up sometime, another workshop or whatever on how to do this in software, be it Elements or be it Lightroom or whatever it be, you know. Practice, take some of your bracketed shots and somebody can run a workshop on actually merging those bracketed shots to see how that works out for HDR.
But there are a few among us, I think, who don't have any software, so they could then do it in camera. Is that right? Do I understand?
It's in no, but not everybody has the ability to do it in camera. So if you don't have the ability
So,
to do it in camera, you
either
need
way,
software.
both ways, yeah.
So you need some, I mean, there may be some, like Photoshop Express may do a version of it.
No.
I think
Yeah.
you could also do it in GIMP, which is a free software.
And GIMP, right, that's the
Oh,
one that
okay.
that's also the one that I mentioned in my
Mhm.
my talk. Mhm.
Sandy,
Yes,
you had a D750 or have one,
I
right?
still have one.
Does that have HDR in it?
I don't know. I didn't look. I was looking up my camera. It probably does. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay, because I have one and I don't think it does, but
Oh,
I haven't
but
looked that carefully.
Well, you could look on, I was just looking up if my mirrorless has it, and I don't think they do, but I was just looking up, you could just Google it, it'll tell you.
You know, the 850 has it. I know that.
Yeah, I know, that's what they mentioned in when the cameras that they said had HDR, they actually showed the Sony, they showed my camera, my mirrorless, but they showed the 850. I didn't see the 750 on that list.
Mhm.
Gee, Rich, I got a 700 and I even thought I had it on the 7000, which is a APS-C. I
Oh.
thought, because I remember playing with it years ago, and that's where I came up
Mario,
with
I think I have it on my 7500.
Yeah, so that's an APS-C, right?
Yes, it is.
So Rich, I'm pretty sure it's on there, and I seem to remember playing with it, and
On this D7.
that's where I
Honestly,
discovered
I had
it
it
has
in
to
my
be
old
JPEG.
5100.
Yeah,
They all had the HDR, huh? All right.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Been a long time.
I used to do my HDRs with that camera, the 700, Mario.
Yeah,
It was pretty simple.
it is. The only
It
drawback to, well, I mean, what you see on the back, on the viewfinder is one thing, but when you bring it up, and I realize a lot of this might be done away if you have tripods or something like that, and use a remote shutter. But I found once you put it on your computer and you took a look at it, you could see ghosting, because the camera software is going to have the same difficulty that you have when you take multiple. The other drawback to me was that you're winding up with a JPEG. So the camera software is in effect editing for you.
Yeah.
And so you're winding up with a JPEG, so you're limited as to what you could do with it when you get it out.
But you could also edit combining, like I did with mine. You could do it.
Yeah. That means
Oh,
doing
that's
it
a
out
good
of
idea.
camera. That's
Right.
doing it out of camera. Yeah.
No, you do it, right, well, you could do it, let's.
No, you could take
Before you
six.
combine them, yeah, and
You
you can
take 6
edit,
photos, yeah. But
right,
when I say do it in camera, it's doing it instantaneously when you take the
Yeah.
pictures. So it's not like well, wait a minute, or can you identify photos and then just pass it? I'm not sure about that. I don't know if you can, I thought it was instantaneous with the camera.
Yeah, well, at least on my camera, that was instantaneous. It shoots the burst of 3 or 5, and then you get on the screen processing, and it takes maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds to process it.
And it throws out an image into your folder.
Right.
That's a JPEG image. That's a combination of this. But I'm not 100% sure if, like, when you're going through, viewing the photos in your folder, if you could pick out a few of them and pass it through an HDR process. That I don't remember.
I'll tell you one thing though, Mario. When you shoot 3 JPEGs and combine them,
Yeah.
they become big files. It's not like just a single JPEG, but they can pretty much hold their, you can crop them and they won't, and what you crop will look better than if you had a single JPEG. So that's the one thing about it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
this,
I'll be
we're
damned. The
speculating.
D750 has, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
I'm just rambling.
You
Go
found,
ahead.
The D750 does have HDR.
it does? I don't see it
Yeah.
on the list that I'm looking at. It has the 850.
No.
It doesn't show the D50.
I'm looking in the manual.
Oh, it really? Okay. Okay, interesting. I may have to pop that out of the bag.
But it does say in here, it cannot be used to record RAW files.
That's the
Nefs.
point. That's the point. Yeah, I think, I'm not 100% on this, but I think when you say you want to do or you want the camera to give you an HDR image, I'm pretty sure you have to shoot in JPEG.
Right, yeah.
So you're
Yes.
shooting 6 JPEG
Yes.
images and it creates an edited JPEG. And
Yes, Mario.
that's the drawback. That means
Yes.
and that's the reason why I didn't really ever pursue it too much, because you're done. You don't have any raw images. You say, oh, it didn't come out that good in camera. I'll go back and I'll take my raw images and go through post-processing on my own. You're finished. It's done,
Well, you're not finished, there's still lots of power in Photoshop to
With the
enhance
JPEG
your
images?
colors and such.
Yeah,
Sure.
a little bit, but not as much.
Not as much, but
true.
you're not dead. You still have
No,
some
That's
capability.
right.
Yeah.
And you've bettered your photo by having the best possible exposure with that combination, and then you can work from there.
Yeah, to me, the biggest difficulty was, and I don't mean to, I know people are saying that it's good, but I found that ghosting, double image.
Yeah, but well, it depends on how steady if you're on the tripod.
Absolutely,
And if you use the alignment feature in Photoshop, it really worked. I didn't have any issues other than maybe you may
Okay.
lose around the periphery.
Okay, yeah, well,
I don't know. Well, sorry I tortured everybody with this.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
It led to a great
Yeah.
discussion.
Yes.
I wish I could have found my HDR of that. I don't know what I did with it.
I will say this: you did mislead us by by passing off raw images as JPEG.
You know, you
That's
could
that's a
you could
disgrace.
fool us once, Harvey, but you won't fool us ever again.
Oh, yes.
Oh, what
That's,
can I do?
that's another workshop, how to find the photos you want to display.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good,
Yeah.
But it was a good discussion,
yes, it was. Very good.
and it opens up. Rich does this too. That it's stuff that we used to hear about years and years ago. We played with it for a little bit, and then you don't do it again.
Yeah,
And this is bringing up stuff that some of us tried to do it.
Very true.
I seem to remember trying to do some of this in an aquarium where you've got very difficult lighting, and I tried to do stuff with that. And of course, it's kind of difficult with moving fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could explain ghosting. So yeah. Very nice, Claude. Good discussion.
Yeah.
Very
Go out-
good, yeah, very worthwhile.
Go out and try it.
I'm especially delighted to hear that I could do it without a tripod. I have a tripod, but
Yeah.
more than ever, I don't want to use it and I don't enjoy it, so.
I could almost guarantee. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Almost guarantee if you have a camera that has bracketing and burst mode and you can combine those and you use the fastest burst mode you have and hold it as good as you can, you won't get ghosting. 95% guaranteed.
I'm very, very excited to try it now.
I've
yeah.
never had ghosting. doing it that way. Even hand holding it, doing it that
You're an old man and your eyes are bad.
way.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't have the shakes.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
All right. Well, that was very good. Thank you. And
Okay.
if you want to send that photo to me, if you ever find it, Harvey,
Yeah.
if you really did it,
I'm still looking. I'm gonna,
just send it to me and I'll mail it out to everybody.
okay. Fine.
Guys, I'm going.
I'm going to. Everybody's
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Claude. Thank you, Harvey.
Good night,